Hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com out of Tijuana. Today, Lietoc and I are joined by Emma, Nate, Alex, Joe, and Mark of the Los Angeles five-piece superstar pop band Dummy. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
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 I'm glad you guys could make it out today. And Mark, I'm glad your cat's what do we got? Candy, and what's the other one's name?
Casper.
And Casper? Where'd
Yeah,
Casper
yeah.
go? Casper left.
Yeah, Casper left. He's playing with the light now too.
Oh,
good. He is.
who needs cat
I
toys
don't
when you just got
I don't
lights?
know what they're doing.
So I've been following Dummy since as soon as I found you guys on like a lineup a couple years ago at this point, and you guys are dropping your first LP with Trouble in Mind October 22nd. This one comes after two cassette releases, one with Popwig and one with Born Yesterday, both amazing. But I honestly can't wait for your guys' LP. The whole thing slaps. So before we get started, how was it playing your first gig in over a year at Non Plus last weekend?
Really great. I'll say.
Pretty sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, it went really well. We had like no idea what to expect because obviously it's been so long. But
yeah,
it was great. I mean, people seemed really excited, and we had a great time. Thought all the bands were so good. Like
yeah.
it's kind of a perfect lineup.
Oh yeah, that was an amazing lineup. I mean, Shaky is so sick. I've been like wanting to see them for a while too, and that was just a great show. I mean, like Marina doing her ambient set, Mo Dottie of course, super sick.
We love Mo Dottie. So
Yeah,
they're
from
very unappreciated here.
yeah, from what I've heard, they've been around for a while too. Actually,
Mhm.
like been playing for a long time, which is sick. A couple of my friends in Ventura are like, "Oh, dude, I've been a fan of them for like a long time." And I'm like, "Oh wow, I didn't know they were around that long." So that's cool. So you guys have some more gigs coming up. One with the Shaking Hands, which are one of my favorites, and you guys are also playing with Dead, right? The Fire Talk band.
Yep.
That's amazing, dude. You guys stoked for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Really tight.
They're friends of ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
Not all of ours, but
Not. I don't.
some of us are cooler than others.
that's awesome. How do you guys know them?
I don't know. Just from East Coast.
Oh yeah,
I met them they played a show in Baltimore that I was at and just talked to them then and then
Yeah.
just been kind of friends ever since.
Oh, that's sick. We love that. So, how are you guys like liking gigs now? Like, I guess in like the age of like, I don't know, this weird like we thought it'd be post COVID a couple months ago, but it's like still COVID.
I bought a mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to say because we've only played the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're excited to play shows. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like that felt like such a tease, I guess, in a weird way. But like now, like we can sort of, in a sense, relax because we felt really tense about that one.
Yeah.
So I think the going forward, I think it'll be a lot more like fun and less stressful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm stoked to see more of your guys' shows. We also have one coming up in Ventura and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
We're very excited for that.
I think that one should be fun just because we like playing smaller venues. So I think that'll be a good time.
Yeah, and Ventura shows have been relatively fun. Like Ventura goes in waves too in terms of like the music scene, and like right now it's actually been like pretty active. We have like a bunch of kids coming out and stuff, which is like a good time, you know. As opposed it was like it was weird like going to shows and stuff like pre-COVID in like the local area. It's like there wasn't much going on. Like people would throw stuff, but like kids just wouldn't come out. And like now it's like it's wild. There's like all these new bands popping up since like you know, uh, COVID started and whatnot, and there's like all these new people in the scene. It's crazy. So I think it should be a good one.
I like that boy girl thing you posted.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Boy Girl is super cool too. I just found them recently as well. They had like reached out to me, and I didn't know that Isaac from that band is brothers with one of my other friends, and I was like, whoa, what the heck? Like, where did you guys come from? Your guys' band is sick, you know? So yeah, they're really cool. They're putting out their tape with like this local label called like Pleasant Valley. They like, you know, put out all of like the local bands like tapes and stuff like that. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I feel optimistic about like all like new bands. Like, you know, there's this period where shows weren't happening and people weren't able to like play music at all. But I think the silver lining of that is like maybe people feel more excited about it now, and there's gonna be like new projects coming out. And
yeah, exactly. It's like weird in a way. It almost gave people like a new what's it called, like
Leaf.
what'd you say?
New leaf there.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and like they're just like motivated to like play and like, you know, create new stuff. It's really cool, actually.
yeah, exactly.
And appreciate like it more, like just having like the, you know, going to shows, and it's not just like, oh, that's what I think. Just people are more open to going to shows.
Yeah, exactly. No, they are for sure. So like for a while, like when Ventura, like we started having shows in Ventura, we didn't have like an actual like venue or anything to host because it was still like kind of new. Nobody knew what was going on. And so it was like kind of a last resort thing where it's like, okay, like we're gonna have to start having shows at this old like place by the beach called Perkins, and it's like near an industrial area. And I was like, dude, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like, I feel like not that many people are gonna show up, and it's gonna be a huge area, and it's gonna look sad when not that many people are there. Dude, that was the most people I've ever seen at shows. And Perkins shows have gone off, and it's just been like outdoors and like, you know, like a parking lot near the beach, like behind these like industrial buildings, and it's been like the craziest shows in Ventura. It's insane.
Nice.
So yeah, it's awesome. So anyways, guys, let's chat dummy. You guys down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So how did you guys all meet? From what I understand, you guys migrated from LA to the from the East Coast. I'm really curious, like what brought you guys here?
Nathan and I had played in a band together previously in Baltimore, and Alex and I are married. And so, you know, all three of us moved here in the fall of 2018.
That's married.
18, I think. 3 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Basically the band that we had been in previously was basically breaking up, and we knew we were going to play music together. And then Emma and I had known each other from about 10 years ago because she lived in Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
We lived together.
Yeah.
When we were both little like punk metalheads. And then
that's awesome.
Mark we met through Modati. The singer Gina suggested Mark play bass.
Nice. Yeah, that's sick.
Mark is here today.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love the network. That's awesome.
We're glad Mark's here too. We love Mark.
Yeah.
We love Mark.
God.
So, how was it adjusting to the West Coast after coming from like Baltimore? I know Mark, you're not from like the Baltimore area, but I guess like for you guys, like what was it like coming from Baltimore and then coming to LA? Was it like super different or? Yeah, was it?
It was definitely hard. Like first year we lived here, we were like really broke. We had a horrible job, at least me and Joe, and like we just had like a pretty awful living situation with like our neighbor, which is like a whole other story. But it like had started to get a lot better, like right in 2019, like into the beginning of 2020, like Dummy was picking up shows, and like we were feeling really excited about the like music we were working on, and
had a whole tour booked that was supposed to be in May.
Wow.
Had a whole tour booked, and and then like it all just got, you know, everything got canceled. We lost our job. Like,
oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it kind of like sucked, and we're kind of still trying to like get out of the hole of COVID.
Yeah. We're still in that like weird period where everybody kind of is like trying to come out of it, you know. My dad lost his job during COVID too, and he actually is like just now finally starting to get like more, I guess, like offers and stuff, you know, which is like it took like what is it, like a year and a half to like finally hear something back, you know. It's just wild, you know. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they just don't need that many people to work right now because nobody's doing so hot.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's overall been like very sort of, it's been a roller coaster, I guess.
Yeah.
Mixed bag, good things, bad things. I mean, LA is like a cool city, and there's obviously it's like extremely beautiful. And
What neighborhood did you guys move to in LA?
Our first apartment was in Mount Washington, and then we moved in with Nate to this place in Highland Park.
Nice.
Like, actually,
right when the pandemic
like
was popping
April
up.
2020.
Okay. Yeah, Highland Park's a cool spot.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty active. There's like actually like culture and stuff there, which is kind of cool. Or like culture for like young people and stuff, you know, which is always a good time, I guess. So
Yeah.
I was gonna ask too, like what was the Baltimore scene like? Like in terms of music? Like you guys were playing out there, right?
Yeah, it was
Well, one of the reasons we left was because we were, I think, feeling just it was stagnant for us.
Yeah.
But you know, a few years prior, it had for us in our previous band, it had felt very like optimistic and like really active and really fun, and like there were so many really cool like small like guitar, you know, pop bands.
Yeah.
Playing. I mean, obviously we have like all the you know Beach House and
Yeah.
all those Dan Deacon and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but,
Dan Deacon.
The DIY like punk, what you know, indie pop, whatever you want to call it, scene was really good for quite a few years there. And then I don't know, we wanted to change. Nate and I had lived there for 10 years, and I don't know, Alex was down to live across the country. So yeah.
That's cool.
I lived in Baltimore for about 3 years, and that was about as long as I could hack it before I was like, I need to go.
So where were you at before?
Before Baltimore? Or before I moved from Baltimore here about 10 years ago.
Oh, so you've been in LA a pretty good amount of time.
I've been here a much longer time than the rest of them. And I've kept in touch loosely with Joe over the years, and just like would occasionally be like, you should move to LA.
Yeah.
It's like it's the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
Come out here. So
yeah.
And every time our old band came through LA, Emma came to the shows.
Yeah.
It was always a joy to see Emma.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maddie, who else have we had on the show from Baltimore? I'm trying to think. Like we had
Luke Stewart, wasn't?
Yeah, we had Luke Stewart. He's based in DC, but like was always in like Baltimore or something. What was the venue they were talking about? Was that Rhizome or something? Is that DC or is that Baltimore? I don't remember. Anyways, yeah.
Saturday night.
Oh, Pavement.
Pavement, yeah.
What was it?
The Luke is in a band with like one of my best friends now called Posnick.
Oh, Luke Stewart is?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He plays bass, and like the drummer of Nate and I's old band Wild Honey plays drums, and then one of my best friends from when we were like freshmen in high school is like the singer.
Oh player. Wow, what connections? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
I mean, Baltimore's like a very small town compared to.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole music scene's small when it really comes down to it. It's like somebody knows somebody from
honestly
somewhere.
though, yeah, I feel like that's like one of the things we've learned too, just from like having this radio show and like interviewing people. It's like, oh yeah, I know that person. Like, oh, I'm like associated with that person somehow, you know, it's crazy.
Artists that get name dropped on the show up 5 episodes later.
Yeah, honestly, that's how it goes. Anyways, I guess like we want to talk like previous projects and stuff too. Was anybody in like any other projects or anything previously before Dummy?
Go around, everyone was.
Yeah, if you guys want to just like talk about them and like
Nate and I were just our main thing before Dummy was just Wild Honey.
Yeah.
Been in like a bunch of other bands since I was like 15. You know, I've always been in bands.
I was in like when Emma lived in Baltimore, I was like in a hardcore band.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
What was your hardcore band called?
Surroundings.
Nice. Can we still find recordings of that?
It's on Bandcamp.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You can find it in the used bin at a lot of record stores and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
You don't want to know about my memory hold.
Wow.
No, me and Maddie love memory hold bands. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. That's sick, honestly.
I don't actually. It's just Emma was right on that one.
We're gonna remember some guys tonight, okay?
Yeah. So was anybody else in any other bands? Are you guys currently in other bands too, or are you guys only doing Dummy?
Only doing Dummy now, but I would say when I moved here 10 years ago, and I would say like my entire social sphere was built because of being in bands. I don't think I would have. I feel like I don't know how I would have ever made any friends if I didn't like start a band with the person that I moved out here with at the time. And then that band led to another band, which is actually a Ventura-based band.
Oh, really?
Now broken up, but all the bands I've been in sound absolutely nothing like Dummy. I've been in like punk bands, metal bands, stuff like that until this, but that was a death rock band called Catholic Spit, and I played synth in that band.
Oh, that's awesome. And they're from Ventura?
Yeah, they're from Ventura. They're still like I think only our guitarist still lives in Ventura. Everybody else, that's kind of why we broke up, is everybody kind of like
everybody split up,
parts, so.
Yeah.
But that was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful time in my life.
Yeah.
But I'm never going back to being I was a goth poser, I guess. I'm not goth anymore. So I'm secretly goth, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like the goth scene is at its like peak right now. Everybody's trying to be goth with like the chains and everything.
We're more
like,
popular now than we were ever were then. It's like when you go look at the YouTube streams.
Oh, that's sick. I'm gonna have to look you guys up. What was it called? Catholic Spit?
Catholic Spit.
That's edgy as hell. That's tight.
Yeah, we were edgy as hell. We were. Yeah.
Okay.
Mark gets to talk now.
Yeah, Mark. You haven't really talked that much recently, Mark. Let's chat, dude. It's just me, you, Maddie, and Emma.
Mark, you talk about your other bands.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm originally from Washington State.
Oh, nice.
Moved out here like 11, 12 years ago, I think.
Okay.
The math keeps changing.
Yeah.
But, Seattle. I was in a band called Talbot Tagora.
Nice.
And I was in a band when I moved down here called Dunes as well.
Oh, nice. I feel like I've heard of Dunes. Do you guys?
Oh, really?
I feel like
vaguely familiar.
That does sound vaguely familiar.
Like a smell band.
What was that?
We were like a smell band.
Were you guys? Okay, maybe that's where it was, because I was like super into like the smell culture scene or whatever, all that. So maybe I know you guys from there. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Dunes a little bit? Like, I guess since we're just having this heart to heart.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was fun. It was just like a fun thing to do. We started it in an apartment that we were living in, and all of our neighbors like let us practice inside the apartment.
Incredible.
And like in retrospect, I just feel like such a dick for doing that.
Yeah.
In my early 20s. Like, but it was fun. It was just like a super like DIY style.
Yeah, that's really cool. How did you guys get like what year was this? Would you say?
Like the Dunes era lasted probably from like 2010 to like 2014-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So who was playing? Who was active at the Smell at that time? Because I know like the Smell always has like a pocket where it's like the same bands there.
Abe Vigoda was still around, and like that's they were doing a lot of shows at the Smell still.
Okay, that was his project, Abe Vigoda, right? But like they do like Lunch Lady now. I don't know their name, but right, isn't that?
Oh, Juan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Juan. Okay, yeah.
And we're playing with his new project with him and Michael, the singer of Abe Vigoda.
Oh, nice.
In September. What date is that again?
17th. It's the day before, or 18th.
Yeah,
it's the day before or day after the Ventura show.
Dude, I also saw that you guys are playing with Preston from his band. He has his old band was called Shit Giver. Like his new band's playing or something.
Yeah, Force Model.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, Shit Giver was absolutely like one of my favorite post-punk bands ever. Like they were so good. Like I'm bummed that they didn't like play that often, or at least like when I saw them and stuff. I only got to see them like one time, but I'm really excited to see that new project, Force Model 2.
It's real. He sent me like some practice space recording, and it's wild.
Is it? What's the sound? What's it sound like? Is it like
just
post-punk?
Really like chaotic and spazzy punk?
Yeah,
I guess.
That's awesome. Well, we love that.
Super in your face.
Yeah. Anyways, we're glad to have you guys back. We lost you for a sec.
Our internet completely died.
Oh
no.
Happens. Oh, we got another kitty friend here. Emma, what's your cat's friend's name?
I thought I'd bring Butch over just for a moment.
Hi, Butch.
Butch. Candy. Say hi to Butch.
Hi, Candy. Hi, Butch.
Zoom. Okay, bye.
Bye, Butch. Thanks for joining us for a sec. Hi, Candy. So, anyways, I guess I loved hearing about your guys' old projects and stuff. Like, what we like to do is we really like to get into, like, I guess, how people got into, like, DIY and stuff. It's always so interesting. Anyways.
Started a long time ago.
Yeah. So, Maddie, do you want to take this next little question, I guess?
I guess we might as well try to synthesize here with all these different directions we got. We got goth, we got, noise punk, we got Baltimore, not indie pop adjacent, but adjacent stuff. What the hell kind of direction are we trying to do here with Dummy? Is there a certain inch y'all wanted to scratch?
No, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least like from a conceptual perspective, I feel like we're trying to really like go in like our own direction that's like not like well tread territory, like trying to kind of like break out of the box of what a band like us should sound like or should write songs like or whatever. So but it's I mean it's a synthesis of like guitar rock music that we really like, especially like 90s UK stuff, My Bloody Valentine, Stereo Lab, bands like that. And then like experimental stuff, like especially like ambient, new age stuff. That was kind of like the big inspiration on Dummy.
Yeah, with the release, I noticed you guys had left a massive, really kind of voracious music list, which shocked me because as soon as I started going through it, there's a lot of points I don't know. And then there was stuff like SIP and Facts and Greenhouse that I did really know. And I was like, okay, what are y'all trying to unite here? Because I also like with SIP and Greenhouse, you have really distinctly new age, especially with SIP, like a fourth wave kind of music project that really interested me. And sonically listening to the single that you had premiere on Post Trash, I forget the name, Daffodils. Yes, I believe that was it. Seeing kind of all of these elements collide into more of a hazy pop thing, it scratches an itch that isn't also quite there on Trouble in Mind, but it's been seen like maybe on some of their side acts. What was it like getting in touch with Bill and Lisa Rowe there?
They got in touch with us.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they liked the two. They put us on some playlist, like a Trouble in Mind in the Office playlist or something.
Yeah.
Had they bought the tapes?
What's that?
Had they bought the tapes and had you seen it on Bandcamp? Because I follow Bill's Bandcamp feed, so I always can tell when he's.
I'm not 100%. I don't know. I guess, but yeah. But they. I was like, oh, thanks for putting us on the playlist. We're big fans of the label. Just in a Instagram DM, and they're like, what are you guys working on? And I was like, well, why do you ask?
Yeah.
And then, it kind of just went from there, and they just signed us based on, I guess, the two EPs, and because they didn't hear anything from the LP, there was nothing to hear really.
And they didn't even ask what we were like, the direction of what we were working on or anything.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like respected. They really were just like, we want to like release whatever you do. Like they were just great. I really.
Well, it's funny because I do remember saying like, oh yeah, the LP is like more song oriented, and they're like, don't lose the weird, keep it weird.
Yeah.
And you're like, nice.
Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We keep it weird.
Wow.
I mean, the first single is probably the most straightforward song on the record that we did, like the classic single thing with that. But like, there's some certainly some departures in different directions on the record. It's kind of all over the place a little bit, but
basically, I mean, like, we're just trying to synthesize like new age ambient music, droney, guitar music like the Velvet Underground and like the Bird, and then obviously we love like MPV and Stereo Lab. It's just like all those things kind of sliding together, along with like Japanese like experimental electronic music, and just our taste is so like hip hop like is also a really large influence in like a lot of the beats which might not be so obvious, but there's like definitely stuff that's like hugely hit. On the LP, there's a couple songs where like the beats are like hip hop beats.
Yeah. Is there a specific era? I don't know. Like, just wondering.
What's that?
A specific era of kind of hip hop era, designation kind of. I don't know.
Like a lot of like boom bap kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Like Diggable Planets or Low Entry.
Yeah, like Diggable Planets, Blowout Comb is like a huge influence rhythmically.
Yeah, I just saw the guys last night. For some reason, they're in San Diego. I don't know. That was 2 nights ago, but Blowout Comb I recently got on CD, and I have the tape of it, and I love that album to death.
There's not really any other hip hop record like that record. It's incredible.
It's interesting to me. It strikes me as like a weird midpoint between some of Massive Attack's Blue Lines and then some of the DJ Shadow stuff on Introducing. So like, it blew me away when I thought I had Reputation. The guy gave me a copy, and I didn't realize it was scratched off, and it was Blowout, and it just blew me away. I feel very hard. Yeah,
the production on that record is out of this world. Like it's just a perfect mix of like psychedelic. I mean, so much of it is psychedelic, and so much of it is like, it's just, I don't know.
It's psychedelic. It's a little hauntological, even with some of the skips, or the Vinyl Crackle really predates what Burial would do and take with that. It blows me away. I think the album's like leaps and bounds ahead of whatever anyone was doing in the 90s.
It's really strange how I feel like they are a very underrated band or group or whatever. Great band.
We love Diggable Comps here on TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of like we're living in the golden age of hip hop and black art in general. So like we're obviously like hugely inspired by like Kendrick, Frank Ocean, Salon. I mean, there's just so much great. But I mean, that's like a whole other thing. Is like this like time in technology and the internet and like having access to like pretty much anything that was recorded in the last like 70, 80 years is like online and easily accessible. So I think like we want to bring like a level of like eclecticism into our band, like grabbing from all these different genres and like styles and kind of trying to create something new out of it.
Yeah. So I guess, is there like any like modern hip hop or like, I guess, like what kind of hip hop are you listening to now? Like, do you listen to any of like the new DIY stuff? I don't keep up with hip hop too much, but I listen occasionally like with what comes up on Bandcamp, like the Bandcamp recommended and stuff.
Recently I've really liked Logi. Okay. It's a Philly hip hop artist. He put out an album last year that I think is fantastic. Denzel Curry.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously I guess that's not DIY though. I like Mike and maybe Overcast and like kind of like all the stuff that I feel like is, I guess, obvious if you know about DIY. It's but Logi is really like, his record, lo and behold, is absolutely fantastic. It scratches a similar itch to Diggable Planets to me. It's not as like far out, but like it has something about it that I feel like is like similar to them.
Yeah.
And then Earl.
Earl is that's classic, dude. I haven't listened to Earl in a while.
The new Tyler record's great too.
Dude, the new Tyler record actually surprised me. That was so good. That record was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I love that. I was like really heavily into like that whole like Odd Future scene when I was in high school, and then I kind of like drifted away from it. But yeah, Earl, absolutely amazing. That is still good when I like visit it every now and again. But like, that was like, that's awesome.
And they're freaks. I mean, they obviously love music. Yeah, like you can tell they dove so deep into rabbit holes, like different types of music and stuff like that. So it's like,
oh, for sure.
They're very.
I mean, that's what's interesting to us, like stuff that's like weird and like outsider or like just abrasive or whatever, like just outside of the norm.
Yeah.
I like other artists that are influenced by like artists that are not like them at all, so that we become the most convoluted band on the planet.
Yeah.
We just want to compound upon everyone else. We want to steal from everyone who has already stolen from everyone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Are you guys gonna see that what's that? It's like Tyler the Creator, like Kali Uchis. There's like they're going on like this massive tour with like a few other people. Are you guys gonna go to that?
That also sounds like a COVID nightmare, but
It definitely does.
I wouldn't go to it.
And
It's
also,
too expensive for us.
This-
We're all
Dude.
working class.
literally,
expensive
it's so
for the
expensive.
bus jobs,
How
yeah.
much is it?
It's like $130 for like, or like 150 or something for like ground or like I don't know, just general admission or whatever. Me and my girlfriend wanted to go. I've been like super into Kali Uchis. Like her music is just so freaking good. And
Very cool.
yeah, dude, Kali Uchis is sick. And yeah, I wanted to see her, but I'm like, I'm not gonna pay that. So
Yeah.
That's rough.
But anyways, yeah, I was gonna.
Support artists if you can pay. Give her all your money.
Yeah,
But
give.
some of us can't.
Yeah, for real, dude. So I guess like we'll jump back onto a thing about Dummy real fast before we move on to some other things. So I read that interior design, marine pollution, the psychology of commercial architecture, and nuclear testing are recurring themes on the record. Can you tell me about that?
I guess those are just lyrical themes.
Okay.
It's pretty much, I mean, the way we write our songs is we write all of the music first and then the lyrics come second. It's not, it's not
Yeah.
like a full. And oftentimes the lyrics are inspired by the music. At least speaking for myself, Nate writes his lyrics. I write my lyrics usually. But yeah, interior design. That I guess that would be like on tapestry distortion. I can go pull something. I got
Yeah,
a
do
really
it, please.
cool
I want to
book.
see.
It's based on a book.
Beauty of Zoom. We can all just go grab.
I know we could just grab things.
Book that's like 1970s interior design book. That
Oh,
just
that's sick.
looks amazing from the outside and on the inside.
Show us something sick.
I'll show you something sick. Basically, I mean, the song title was, all of our song titles are, we just come up with silly names while they don't have any lyrics.
Yeah.
Tapestry Distortion is like one of the only ones that actually just stuck because I was inspired by that on top of this book, which is just like, I don't know, like here's a bunch of like happy children in a weird room.
That's so interesting.
Get them out of there.
I'm trying to find the photo that really was like, oh, I need to take more inspiration from this book. But like a lot of those lyrics are just like, I was kind of just combing through this and picking out weird, like here's a bunch of staircases. Like a lot of it is about staircases.
Oh, that's sick.
But it's, I just basically used interior design like in the way of like a totally gaudy 70s design aesthetic with like shag carpet and tapestries hanging everywhere, but use that as an analogy for something more like personal to me, so nobody would ever really know what I was actually talking about. But it was just a bunch of weird phrases. Like down the dog leg is what I like to say the most, because like nobody knows what the fuck that means, and that's just like a technical term about staircases. Is a dog leg.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Like sides on the stairs, that like an individual tread is like a dog.
Oh wow, yeah,
the
that
dog
makes
legs
sense.
Are like a spiral staircase, weird shit like that.
Oh, that's interesting as heck. I actually never knew that. That's awesome though. I'm gonna be sure to look out for the architecture lyrics in the album now that I know about it.
Just that song, I think. They're all very individual.
Yeah, we kind of like we had a couple like conversations about like themes, like kind of like ideas for lyrics, I guess.
Yeah.
But they really just took on a whole new life, like once they started writing, and it kind of came together. But I mean, yeah, like one of our songs was kind of like inspired by the idea of like shopping malls are like designed in a certain way to like kind of confuse you and kind of keep you lost in a way.
Yeah.
In order to like get you to pass more shops and like potentially buy more things, and like just kind of like going into like the psychology of, how architecture can like psychologically affect you.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool.
Would you say you guys lean more towards centripetal spaces, centrifugal spaces?
I like interstitial spaces myself.
Yeah, interstitial.
I did go to architecture school for 1 year.
Oh, that's dope.
I took a film art class for 1 semester.
How about you, Mark? What's your favorite type of I don't know, architecture or something? I don't know.
Brutalism.
Dude, I actually just found out what brutalism is.
Or Gogi, actually. Gogi. 100%.
I don't
Is
know
that how
what
you
Gogi
say it?
is.
I don't know.
Well, I get my book on Le Corbusier.
Yeah.
What is that, Mark?
Whatever the structure, it's like what the structure is at LAX, you know, that like old kind of spacey looking, like, it used to be like the cafe there. That's
like the avant-garde gas station that we named it.
Yeah. Retro futurism, I guess.
Yeah.
So
all like the Norm's Diner is like a Gogi,
Oh.
like the Norm's Diner sign with all like the triangles and stuff.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Speaking of like weird architecture, I've been keeping up with like the UCSB housing crisis. I don't know, Maddie, have you kept up with that at all?
Not enough, but I know they're going to have to rent out hotels or do stuff.
Yes, it's actually really wild. And like one of the things that they're proposing for a while is like building this like mega dorm. They're calling it like Dormzilla or something like that to like just fit as many people as possible. But they want to make it just this massive block with no windows or anything.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, no windows.
Oh, sounds joyous.
And
perfect for the times.
Yeah,
in which we live.
And the only window they're gonna have is a porthole, and it's gonna be a digital screen. And I guess like the architect behind that design was saying that they want to encourage like the kids to like hang out in communal spaces. So weird, dude.
Not
So
sound
weird.
Like that's what's gonna happen.
I know.
Like solitary confinement. Be watching porn like 100.
I feel like they listened to Bryn's Home Screen Glow and took the wrong lesson away from it all.
Yes.
It's illegal to have like rooms without windows. There's some law about like how many windows.
Is there really? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's why I quit architecture school. Is all of the rules and regulations that made things less fun. Like,
oh wow, I didn't know that was a thing. That's interesting. Yeah, I could see I always thought architecture school would be like sick, and you're just like drawing things on like massive paper for some reason. Like
it was really fun making like teeny tiny little models of structures, and then we would do things like build big giant like outdoor, like seating areas and stuff. But then once it got like really into like, here's how you need to like make space for like an HVAC system, or like make sure that there's like handicap entryways and do all of these things that are architecture school overall is an incredibly intense program, and it a lot of people drop out, and I'm one of them. So I just went to art school instead.
I would have dropped out too and went to art school. It's just, this is more fun, like anyways, nuclear testing too. Like, you guys want to talk about nuclear anything in specific, like nuclear testing?
We were watching I think the day of, or maybe the day before, we were starting to work on vocals for the songs. In the morning, Nathan and I watched a documentary, like a short, like YouTube documentary on atomic veterans, and just and basically just hearing what the military or the whoever put them through. They would put them on ships and put them in the sea, and then they would shoot off a nuclear bomb, and like they'd be covering their eyes, and they could see their like insides, and like how that would like psychologically affect you, and like how that
oh my god
experience. And this is just like the US government testing weapons on its own soldiers, basically.
A documentary that we watched was actually about the British Army.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
I think
those weren't my lyrics.
It was right around like World War II. I don't know if it was over yet, but yeah, it was like one of those initial tests to see what happens if like you put a bunch of men on a ship and detonate a nuclear bomb right next to them.
Bro, that's fucked. What the hell?
The soldiers had no clue what they were doing. They didn't tell them what they were doing at all. And now pretty much all of them died from like cancer and other.
Wow.
Those, like survived the initial blast.
And it just the way they described, like, you know, like they're covering their eyes from the blast and they can see like their bones and they can see through their friends' bodies and stuff like that. And, you know, our, you know, just in general disgust of the military industrial complex of the United States and, you know, everywhere.
And just the concept of like trusting with like the government and having your own interest, you know.
Yeah.
You're just your safety. Like you're just like help.
Yeah.
Being ignored for the, you know, the greater power of the empire.
Well, just really for no reason.
Yeah.
Just as an experiment.
Yeah. So that's what.
Like, it's a nuclear weapon. It's gonna work, guys.
Yeah.
You don't need to, like,
you don't need to like put people through that. Yeah.
It's an explosion.
Yeah. And that's actually the single. Our next single that's coming out on Monday from the LP is that song. It's called Final Weapon.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. We wanted the title to sound like a DB song.
That's sick.
And we made a cool video for it at my house.
Nice. Is that coming out on Monday as well? This is airing Tuesday, so yesterday, I should say.
Emma did an excellent job on the video.
Yeah,
nice.
It really doesn't have a ton to do with the actual lyrical subject matter. We did. Though, I mean, there are certain visual elements that kind of tie into it, but
that's cool.
We like to do as much ourselves as we possibly can. So it was like we had a very fun time. It's much more silly when you watch it than subject matter entails, though the song is also kind of like crazy and silly sounding. So we like to play on the dichotomies of those things. So
that's great. I can't wait to see that. That sounds sick.
It's funny. There's some funny stuff.
That's dope.
Despite being like, you know, very like studied and like kind of like serious about our music, like we're pretty like we're pretty self-aware and like, you know, there's a lot of humor. Like all of our song titles are like jokes pretty much. Like none of them actually, like Tapestry Distortion, the song we were talking about earlier, like the phrase Tapestry Distortion, I wrote down in my phone because I was watching a dude tripping on acid on YouTube. And he said, "Oh, Tapestry Distortion's happening now." And I was like, that'd be a funny song title. And so that's like the song titles come from like just things we say or like dumb like just that's really what it
rhetorical standards.
Yeah. Everybody just kind of has a running list in their notes on their phone of like
random
weird
things,
conversational statements that you're like, that's a funny song title. So
yeah,
we try really hard not to like take ourselves too seriously because I think that's something a lot of like experimental artists and, you know, avant-garde musicians or whatever. That's just something we really reject.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a good thing. Yeah, never want to take yourself too seriously, you know.
I mean, it's just music.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fail.
Well, I would say for the most part, I feel like that's like just like what DIY should be. If you're taking yourself too seriously and it's like you're in a DIY scene, it's like, all right, come on, man. Like, what was it? We had this like band. I don't want to shout them out, but you know, it was like when we were doing like that DIY spot Perkins that I was telling you about, like outdoor, the generator show. And this band was like, "No, we don't do DIY stuff like that. We only play venues." And we're kind of just like, all right, like, straight up. It was like, okay, dude, if I could type a bunch of clown face emojis, that's like what I would describe it as. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, you know, and it's like that. It's those type things, you know, you always got to just like, you know, not take it. It's like, dude, come on, man. You know, it's DIY.
The scene, you know, the music scene, all DIY scenes, I feel like are full of people who are really like full of themselves. And like, I don't know, it seems like there's this mentality that like, oh, I worked really hard on like this record that I made, so like
I deserve attention because it's like not necessarily.
Seriously.
I deserve this amount of money for like this, you know, performance.
Yeah.
I know this person, they said this is good, so everyone else should.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
very LA thing, but I think that it's like, you can navigate around that and not kind of get into those pitfalls if you want to. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we're trying to do.
Well, I also think it's like if I think if it can be pretty obvious when someone doesn't like in like I say this in like this term the Vegas kind of meaning like you can tell when someone's not like punk.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very obvious. Like you can tell you didn't have to like try that hard, or you didn't have to like book shows and eat shit for years. Or like you never booked a show for another band in your whole life. Like,
there's
you
kind of a lot of like rich kids with mommy and daddy's money who got who were able to like buy all their instruments when they were 20 years old, just to be like, let me try this out. I'm cute.
Yeah. I think a lot of people come into making music with like, money in mind. Like, I'm gonna make this record and I'm gonna
seriously.
It just doesn't really make sense. Like if you know anything about the industry, it's like extremely difficult to make money, much less like a living, much less be like famous. Especially nowadays when like pretty much the vast majority of listeners are listening to like an ever shrinking number of artists. It's all kind of like
and like half of each person's song and just like skip. It's just we're just so inundated with so much material that people's attention spans are this fucking long. So
there's so much being released every day.
It's hard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, know your labels.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like streaming and stuff doesn't really help that either. It just makes it super easy for people to just be like, next, like whatever.
That's something that like it's kind of like on paper you would think, okay, streaming, this is making like music so much more accessible. Like this democratic thing, right? Like, oh, now people will like have access to like this whole library of culture and it'll enrich their lives or whatever. But in fact, what's happened is the opposite. People are largely ignoring, most of what's available on streaming and just listening to,
they're listening to what the algorithm gives them. You know what I'm saying? It's like just that recurring algorithm. Like, I don't know if you guys ever like listen on like a streaming service or something and like, you listen to one band and you cycle through all of their songs, then like, it'll just start playing like the same like big indie artists or whatever all the time. And it's like, oh, this is why nobody knows this band I was just listening to. Cause like, it just assumes if this is like sort of indie sounding, it's just going to start playing like, big indie band of the month or whatever, So
I mean, the premise of like algorithmic music recommendation is really dark, honestly. Like that's not how music has ever worked in the past. Not really a good way to like, discover new music. I mean, music is like by definition like so there's so much variation and it's also subjective that like it doesn't work the same way as like getting ads on Facebook. Like Facebook knows what you're like into and they'll give you ads for that. But for music, it's like music is such a personal thing.
Do they really know what you're into though? They don't really know.
It just makes more sense like on paper.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like the term like bedroom pop or like DIY has been commodified into this like aesthetic.
Straight up, dude.
This ideal.
Yeah.
And like,
it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Like, you see like you'll see like I don't know what you'll see like Lord on an indie playlist.
I know.
This is not like girl. And if you like that shit, that's fine. Like whatever, like whatever you want. But like those terms have become so meaningless now. Like major label artists being called bedroom pop is like horse shit. Like it's just like you're a rich kid with like a ton of money making a record on like all this nice gear. I don't know. It's goofy and like. The like I don't know, there used to be something more like sacred and spiritual and like not religious about like DIY, but like you go to a show, like I feel like you would go to shows and take chances on bands.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now you can just hear a band, you're like, nah, I'm not even gonna try. Like, and sometimes there'll be a band you'll listen to on a recording and you're like, I don't really like this, but then you see it live and you're like, oh, like I get this. Like,
yeah,
and I feel
for
like
real.
that happens so infrequently because now just everything's there for you, and you can just be like, you can say no right away.
Yeah. Or you would like walk into a record store and you would see something that just looked cool from the cover and it was like cheap enough that you wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
And then you were stuck with that. So maybe if like even on the first listen you didn't even necessarily like it, you still kept listening to it because you committed to it. And there's no commitment anymore. Nobody commits.
There's no commitment.
Yeah.
Everything's like it's like it's almost like fast food. It's like quick entertainment, and you like something for a little while, and you're like, okay, I'm good, and then you move on to the next thing. Like people don't spend. Feels like so many records that come out now. You know, there'll be every once in a while there'll be a record like, you know, for example, like Frank Ocean Blonde, where like that record, like no matter who you were, pretty much everyone loved that record, and that record will stay with you. Like I still listen to that record after what 5 years it's been since it came out. Like, and that happens so infrequently. I felt like when I was a kid, you know, I would listen. You know, you'd have these records and you'd hear them, and it would be more special, and you'd spend more time with it.
You would have a sense of like identification with music. You know, it would become part of your own personality. Like you would like identify yourself in music. I think that's kind of going away. Like people are more just like don't care about. I feel like
they want to listen to music that fits into the personality they've already curated.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention this because I'm thinking about hype beasts and hardcore and that random kind of sudden thing of how, like, of course, in the 80s or 90s, you'd have major label acts or stuff like REM or The Cure, stuff that, you know, was alternative, but had a sizable, like, high school, like, this is my band.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because, like, I'm huge on REM. I've been diving through the Cure's catalog and, again, going into stuff like that and realizing, oh, this is how people were truly, like, consuming this.
The Cure has endless songs.
Oh, my
endless.
I've got 10 of their cassettes, and I'm like, this is... That 80s run is perfect. It's pretty much just bona fide.
Pornography is like one of the best albums of all time.
I mean, integration.
Yeah.
But like it's funny because like with hardcore, like from like I think like, and Emma I think will be able to like I guess collaborate. Like the funny thing is like that like 10 years ago when I was playing not more than 10 years ago when I was playing in hardcore bands, like kids were wearing like North Face and Supreme and all that shit back then. And now that's trickled up, and now it's such a mainstream thing, like wearing that sort of like, you know, the hype t-shirt, you know, what streetwear, and that
whatever.
started in like hardcore and punk, which is kind of funny.
Wow, that's interesting. Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, like I just remember like the singer of my hardcore band like was obsessed with Supreme and like North Face.
I mean, well, I think that's he stole that from hip hop though.
Yeah. Did he? So, I don't know. I have no idea where, like, in terms of like Supreme and all that, because like
I mean, hardcore and hip hop are also like inextricably linked because it's just like aggressive man yelling in a rhythmic way.
Yeah, right.
Like what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting, like now it's just everything's so as corny as it and I really as it can feel to say, like everything feels so based solely on either like monetary capital or social capital, and that's what like so many like that's so much music is based like in music scenes and people involved in music are so like focused on that. And like for us, our only ambition, like none of this our band like started off with like ambition for like anything that's happened. Like we just wanted to make music we thought was good and put that into the world. And then as time has gone on, all the things that have come our way has just been like, I don't want to say luck because we work really hard on the music, and you know I've worked really hard on like, you know, just I have friends and like everywhere, like from just bands that I feel like kindred spirits or whatever. And yeah, just I feel like the sense of community and like, you know, everything feels very like individualistic, just like the way, you know, at the, you know, the kind of like
general culture.
The general culture of like our country is like, you know, individualism. And like to me and for like us, it's more about community. And like that's why I'm always posting about bands on our Instagram. Like I want to signal boost to other bands.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck our band. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like the platform that we have at this point, which is obviously teeny, but like I want to signal boost music we think is cool and like bands that we think people should hear that aren't like, you know, that's what's important to like us, like, you know, community and like culture, not like.
Yeah, of course. I think that's also like it's a huge part of like DIY in itself too. It's just like the community aspect of it, you know? Which is part of like why I like it so much. And it's like what I do with my show, and like one of the main things that I do with my show is like I have to give a spot to like the locals and stuff. You know, if like a local hits me up, it's like I'll have you on for sure. Down. I don't even know your music, but I'm down. You know, like that type deal.
I mean, it's crazy to me that like big touring acts, like won't like not. And when I say big, I mean relatively. You know, someone who will like play at the Echo or something, they'll have like 3 touring bands and then no local band. Like you have like this platform to like support the local scene that helps bring you up in this, you know.
Yeah,
you should always have a local
LA's got a lot of bands, so
yeah.
We're finding that daily.
And I don't care about like that, and that's not for like our benefit. I think it's like, I think in general, like, you know, that's something that I think gets lost. Like, you know, supporting, you know, bands get to a certain echelon and then they stop supporting the local scenes that like help lift them up through the years to get them to where they are. And then it's like, all right, now I can get money and have a guarantee.
And I mean, there's like been this decay of like music scenes in general, where it's like hard if you're a new band, like it's so hard to like find a show, especially if you don't have like friends that are already like in bands or whatever. How do you even like start making music? There's no like fostering of new artists in our like in LA or any city, you know. It's like I mean, it really is like DIY spaces is kind of the only place for like new artists, new bands.
It actually is, yeah. It straight up is. It's like,
and that's why we've just seen like, or that's like a big part of why like music in general has kind of homogenized into, oh, you're an artist that sounds like this thing that I already like, so I automatically like you, and you're automatically given a career or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Versus like in the 90s when there was more like experimental stuff happening and like outsider artists were able to like, you know, have support in order to like put out records and like have a career, you know, like feels like
even
that's
on
like,
major labels. There's some heavy like with Royal Trucks in the 90s getting to do a run on Virgin. Or like Beta Bands run in 2000s, just like really crazy. Oh, this could happen on a major. You could see this.
Yeah. And it's just it's less focused on art and more focused on like what will
commercial viability.
You know, what will get me think, what will get me, you know. So,
and I mean, obviously a huge part of that is also that there's just less money in the industry. Like people aren't buying CDs really the way they were in the 90s. So the money is just dried up, and Spotify's obviously, you know, absorbed a huge portion of the money that was there for artists.
Obviously we have feelings about
yeah.
I mean, I will say I work at an independent record label, and I have not had a single moment of downtime with work during COVID, because that is inspirational to me. You know, it's like I don't work at a major label, we're at a very small label.
Yeah.
But it's like you just knowing like how well like we actually I think did better like in the first year of COVID than we did the previous year, because people who are fans of independent music do actually really care about
for sure.
For sure.
I mean,
bands.
And also you have to give a lot of credit to Bandcamp for showing the fuck up for artists. You know, they're doing jobs.
Bandcamp is like really the only thing left that's like really for music. It feels like everything else is like it's about music. Even like you know, music publications nowadays, it feels like, are they really like criticizing music? Are they really like, you know, looking for new music, or are they just like responding to what's like fed to them by like these PR agents?
Bandcamp they shine a light on so much music, and like that's like no one else is gonna get. I mean, you know, when you have like a monthly like Here's the experimental stuff you should listen. Here's the hip hop you should listen to. You know, and they also, I think it's kind of funny. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure they don't have like a here's the indie rock you should listen to this month. No. It's more like punk and hardcore, and I love that they do that. They focus, like, they're like, fuck all this other shit, like, that gets so much like traction everywhere else. We're gonna focus on like electronic music or beat tape or like ambient music or like punk and hardcore. It's so funny. Like I feel like like last year their best of thing. I was like, there's no indie best of, and I think that's cool. Like it's no like indie rock.
I've actually never thought about that, but that's interesting. It definitely is intentional. Wow, that's interesting.
Even last year's best of, they were like, okay, we're not going to do a top 100. We just want to do like 5 major themes. And it was obvious, like, okay, there's still titles that are going to show up here.
Sure.
But it was like they were the only publication putting some like of the not heard cranky titles, or like really going to bat for Hasu Mountain way before anyone was doing that. And so like Acid Test and Best Experimental, Miles Bowen, Mark Masters, those are columns I go to religiously because that's where I'll find a tape that I'll put on my want list, or I'll be like, yep, automatic buy, or something I've already seen, because that's really where it's at.
Yeah.
That was the magic of MP3 blogs kind of gone there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, you know, I don't know, you know, that's I don't know, we care.
Yeah.
We care a lot. And that's why we're so, like, kind of, I feel like we have intense opinions.
I mean, it's like, you know, music, at least for like me and Joe, I don't know, I don't speak for everyone, but like,
save my life.
As kids, you know, music was like such a massive part of our identity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
100%,
everyone.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's a thing that's going away, and that really sucks.
Well,
so bummer.
I mean, I feel like you're always going to be able to find the DIY communities where it's like alive, you know, and that's just kind of like I feel like we're lucky to have found these spaces, at least in our own communities. That's like, oh, these people actually give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I found like Maddie through like the radio, and so I just found the radio in general, you know, and I was like, wow, these people actually care about music. This is crazy. Like you guys actually care, you know.
What are the labels? Also give like a shout out to Trouble in Mind or Cranky.
Yeah, shout out to the labels too that are keeping it alive as well, like all the little ones too. And you just have like these people that are so dedicated to everything, and yeah, they keep it alive, you know.
Yeah, Lisa and Bill are nerds.
Yeah,
they're right. It's like the first week or so after we like signed or whatever, they sent like Alex and I like this like 20 YouTube link recommendation for like jazz and like new age.
That's
music.
sick.
Like you know, and like it was, and most of it we hadn't heard of, and so like you know they're like dorks on the level.
Oh.
That's awesome.
One question I have about Trouble in Mind, and it comes from a Brian Case tweet. So is it true that everyone on the label loves the Raincoats Audi shape?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just
well, I can't speak for everyone, but we definitely.
I mean, everything that's come out this year. Everything that's come out this year, I think, like Smoke Bellow, Night Shift, Back.
I went to Chicago and saw Facts. I straight up traveled and went into their first show of their 3-night residency.
Whoa.
I got it, downloaded that album, and I thought, this is really like, I love Disappears. I love some of the early Facts stuff, but this was leaps and bounds just to jump for
It's the best thing they've done for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're
kind of like people
right now, I'm jealous of the Bay and Chicago for bands. Like, those two, like the Bay Area and Chicago have the best bands.
Is the Bay back?
The Bay back? Is aggressively back.
Okay, this is huge.
Who's popping off from the Bay? I know there's like Paisley Shirt going off, that little scene. Like
there's April Magazine, Cindy, Blue Zero, Blue Ocean, Galore.
Are you just naming all the bands we're playing with, Joe?
Yeah.
And Constellation Tatsu.
Huh?
Constellation Tatsu.
Are they from the Bay?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
God. I mean, that new Partner record's really good.
Yeah, Partner's tight.
Trying to think. Well, I mean, I feel like I just named like 10 bands. Like, it's crazy there.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I'm like, fuck all of you for having so many good bands to play with.
Yeah,
Umbrellas, right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel like LA goes off too. You can't discredit how like LA. I feel like it's always has like an endless like flow of bands as well. Anyways, so I guess should we like move on to some listener I guess, do you want to talk about the guest mix too, by the way, just before we jump into anything else? Do you guys want to talk about what you put on the guest mix, the mix?
We haven't finished it yet.
We haven't.
Okay, that's fine.
Guys.
Alex and I have fought over it multiple times today.
Good. There should be fighting.
Yeah.
What's that?
It should be a bloody kind of just horse trade here.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath in our bed.
Oh.
Ooh, baby.
I wouldn't.
It's a lot of different stuff. It's a lot of stuff that we've like been listening to more recently. A couple things that are like new releases or newly found out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be a surprise.
Can't wait to see what we got.
But yeah, listener questions, sure.
Let's do it. Let's jump into some listener questions. So we got a couple. So the first one is thoughts on ventriloquism. Can't be named dummy and not have a hot take.
Oh shit. Let's talk about how we all got to go see Annette together in the theater by ourselves because of Gina from Modati, who works in a movie theater, invited Joe and Alex, and the rest of us were all like, you can't just invite them. We all have to go. So we had like the whole theater to ourselves. I didn't know. This is not ventriloquism. This is more puppetry.
Yeah.
We should say.
Aspect is kind of a spoiler of the movie, but
yeah.
It's a spoiler for like that movie.
Kind of. It's a spoiler if you're gonna see that movie, which I feel
like don't mind
if you're gonna, you've seen it already.
Yeah, I feel like if you were gonna see that movie, you would have seen it already. But it's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. It's really
I highly recommend.
It's bizarre.
Very
it's bizarre. Coming in as somebody that knew nothing about it aside from it's a musical with music by Sparks and Adam Driver. I was like, okay.
That's sick.
And then after that, like we were all just sitting in the theater going, whoa,
yeah,
what is happening?
I guess no real hot take though.
But no, I like a puppet. Puppets are great.
Yeah, puppets are dope.
Cool.
Shout out to Anomalisa.
Shout out to Anomalisa.
That was the one. That was like Alex's like.
That was like our second date. We went to see Anomalisa.
Oh really?
Oh man.
Which is a soul-crushing movie to see on a date.
Yeah. Oh, I have the book of that. I love a lot of the details of that movie, but man, that's a lot. Oof.
Yeah.
I know someone whose girlfriend went with her boyfriend's dad to see the movie. I'm not making that up. And they did not know about it. So, yep. They get halfway through and they're like, what?
That's awesome. So I guess should we jump into the next one?
Yeah.
All right. This one is thoughts on Pavement.
Oh, fucking! I know exactly who asked that. I know that was fucking Daniel conversing. I know that's who it was. Fuck Pavement.
Oh, okay. So even Westing by Musket and Sexton. I should have brought out my Pavement tapes. I'm not huge on the band, but the Drag City Lo-Fi Noise. Come on, guys.
Nope.
Oh, Furniture Hopes, which is actually a perfect example of a random Spotify algorithm picking up a song and turning it into their biggest hit.
I will. The only thing that's Pavement adjacent that I fuck with is the Silver Jews. Silver Jews are.
Oh yeah, they have the best Pavement album.
Yeah,
that's an obvious. That to me is obvious. But Westing, the noise stuff from Drag City, that was good. That was when they were at their best, actually, and they were the holy trinity of Royal Truck, Smog, and Pavement.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
but Daniel is wrong. Daniel is wrong. Daniel from Versing is very wrong.
Joe knows.
This is good. This is good, though. I think
this is good discourse.
I really respect this, though. I've got no qualms.
I'm gonna text him right now and say, "You motherfucker."
So this next one is
corners. Fuck Bright in the Corners. That was the one, that absolute dud. Everything.
I think we lost Maddie.
No, they're there.
Oh, Maddie, say it again.
They're there.
I was just saying, fuck Bright in the Corners, but everything else is a C+ or above.
So this next one is favorite city for pizza.
Not Los Angeles.
I would say LA.
Really?
No, I would either say New York or
I'm kind of a Chicago deep dish kind of a fan.
I like the Chicago pie.
At the empty
Yeah.
bottle.
Mark chimes in. What was that, Mark?
I like a Chicago pie.
I like a Chicago pie. I
Yeah.
think the first time I ever had Chicago deep dish, I was like, whoa, this is for me.
Yeah.
They made this for me.
I think that question is like kind of tough because like
Whoever wrote that question, it's
like pizza is like good. You can't really like you can probably find like pretty good pizza like anywhere, you know? So,
Yeah.
like
Pizzeria.
I mean, New York obviously is just like the classic
York.
answer, but
Yeah.
here, like for us vegans, it's really great here.
there's great I mean
What's your favorite vegan pizza place in LA?
Triple Beam.
Triple Beam has really good vegan options.
and non-vegan option.
I'm gonna have to check it out. That sounds good.
Triple Beam does really good stuff.
So I guess just since we're on the topic of vegan food, what are you guys' favorite vegan restaurants in LA?
Senna Vegan.
Dude, Senna's really good. Yeah. Me and my
Their
girlfriend go there.
distribution center is like less than a block from my house, which is also less than a block from our practice space. So it
So
works
dope.
out perfectly.
Yeah.
It's all centrally located.
Yeah, we started going there like right after we moved to LA and
Yeah.
we were just obsessed.
You can't go
Like,
wrong, dude. Their burritos are so good. What do you say? Oh, you text.
Yeah. Very funny.
That's good.
there's a lot of really good vegan restaurants.
I think of
Even just around here, like Kitchen Mouse, so good.
Do you guys ever go to that like food truck lettuce feast?
Yes, we've been there.
That one's
The
pretty
chicken
good.
sandwich place.
Yeah.
There's a place called Wolfie's by us that has really good vegan chicken fingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to take notes, dude. I need to write this down.
fun
Like,
here.
This Triple
Very
Beam
pleased.
looks incredible.
I know.
We went and ate at Mazal right before our show, and that
Oh, yeah,
was
Mazal is really good.
delicious
That
as
was great.
well.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's a new like vegetarian Israeli restaurant.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Like right in Lincoln Heights, like really close to our space.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to try that one out. Maddie, we should try out that triple beam one after the
Thomas,
Claire
I'm
show or
very-
before. Let's do
I'm
it.
very down.
Yeah,
Let's
get
do
the vegan chorizo. It's really good.
That sounds
Oh.
dank. Yeah, that sounds really good. Thanks for the Rex.
Yeah, but like the thing about LA too is like every restaurant has options pretty much. Like
Yeah.
it's very rare that you'll find a place that doesn't even offer like a vegetarian or vegan option. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like I don't know. Just around here like Joy is really good.
Yeah.
Like a Taiwanese place. Yeah. I don't know. LA is such an incredible food city.
Food city, good food city.
So what were we gonna say? Did I interrupt someone?
No, you're good.
Okay. So for our next one, this one says, do you ever read your Bandcamp reviews?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
Yeah. They're right there.
There's
they're
only
right there, right there in the front.
There's some really funny ones too.
there's
Yeah.
there's one on our new record already, and it's really weird. I don't know what they were trying.
Oh yeah, is that the one about like their mother dying?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
know why.
dude, I saw that. That was wild. I was just like, interesting. Like,
And one of the Bandcamp reviews compares us to Pavement.
really?
I was like,
So
what
you
the
don't
fuck?
get it, don't get it, but thanks for the support.
Thanks for the support, but you're wrong about Pavement.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's very few. I mean, I think there's only like a total of like maybe 10 for all of our releases. So.
I think it's I leave reviews or comments on all the stuff that I find.
Do you?
Yeah.
I try to.
Go. We would love to hear your weird reviews. Be like Joe. Tell us we're like Pavement. We don't care. Just leave a review.
Leave reviews for Dummy. There it is.
Troll us.
Troll us for sure.
Troll them in the Bandcamp comments.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to be trolled, then it's not really a troll.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to the end here. Do you guys want to shout out any last remarks, or where can people keep up with Dummy, all things Dummy? Anything else you guys want to say?
We just only have Instagram. That's kind of where we post everything.
Nice.
That's all. Yeah. Or Bandcamp. I mean, if you want to
try to keep it narrowly focused.
Anything else?
Messages in a bottle.
What?
Messages in a bottle.
Yeah, do you guys take us?
Oh, fantastic!
Nice.
The string.
Hit up Joe on Twitter.
Joe posts on Twitter.
Joe, you have a good Twitter feed, by the way.
But his own personal Twitter, we don't let him have a dummy Twitter because it's too out of hand.
He can't tweet at the band.
Yeah, what is it? What's your handle at not dummy?
Yep.
Good content. Good content.
Yep, exactly.
Get your whiny old man content. String it to the clouds.
Twitter stuff. That's why I don't know, avoid it.
Yeah.
I avoid it.
We all avoid it.
No.
I'm just bad at Twitter. I'm just really bad at Twitter. I'm just not good at it. Maddie can attest to that. Maddie will be like, you don't like tweet link in bio. It's not Instagram. And I'm like, you're right, dude. I'm just not good at Twitter.
The tape release, that was so good.
I know, dude. I was just like, oof. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know how Twitter works. So anyways, we have one last question before we go. Maddie, do you want to hit them with it?
Oh man.
This is kind of a big one. Are you guys ready? It's the biggest one of the show and it catches everybody off guard.
Okay.
And everybody has to answer.
Okay. So you're over there at the Numero pop-up and you're going through all the stuff. You're having a great time and Numero forgot to set up the rat traps at their space and now a rat's gonna jump into each of your mouths and now head or butt and why?
Wait, what?
So do you want the
say that one more time? I think we're breaking up.
So anyways, you're over here at the Numero pop-up. They forgot to put up their rat traps in the space they, got. And a bunch of rats just came out when you're searching around for stuff. These rats are gonna jump in your mouth. We're really sorry about that. And the only thing you could choose is if it's gonna be the rat's head or the rat's butt. You can also justify your answer. We're open to hearing why. Oh no!
We stumped them. We stumped them.
I think the butt is too large. I think the head will just fit more easily in your mouth.
I could see that. Yeah.
I think I would say it doesn't really matter because I would assume wherever their head has been, their butt is also.
Their butt's gonna be there.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no cleaner area, I guess, of the rat.
A lose-lose situation.
It definitely is a lose-lose.
I don't know. I've had a rat jump out at me in a cabinet, so I'm triggered.
That's actually terrifying.
Oh no, I feel that I've had one come out of an old aluminum grill. So scary.
That would scare the hell out of me.
I had a squirrel jump out at me from behind my stove when I lived in Cincinnati, so that was fun too.
Nice.
They're scary.
Free rat.
They're also scary when they're in your house. They're scary.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Any wild animals inside your house.
My cats brought in my dog brought in a possum the other day, but didn't bring it inside the house. It was right at the doggy door. And I thought so I guess there was a nest somewhere, and I guess the babies were falling out of it or something in the trees. And so anyways, they brought one a few days before and it died, and then they brought another one and I was like, oh great, another dead possum. And I go to move it and this thing totally is playing dead, and I think I scared it when I went to go pick it up and it moved, and I was like, yeah, fuck that, I'm out, dude. And then so it was a glass door, so I shut the glass door and I was just watching it periodically, just every 10 minutes to check on it, and it was totally playing dead because if I would tap on the glass, its ears would perk up. It was so weird. I've never seen a possum do that. And then I leave for 10 more minutes, come back and check, and it's gone. Like it finally like was like I'm out. So weird. Never seen that before.
Look at Mark's lighting. Look at this lighting Mark has going on.
It's real nice.
Yeah, look at Mark.
Yeah.
Look at
Everybody look at Mark.
Mark's been so stoic and like Mark. Oh. Mark's the
with my squirrel. This is actually I named my cat Squirrel too. So I also
after that incident.
Hi, Squirrel.
After that incident, she's much more wonderful than that.
I was like, I don't want this.
Yes, she does. Look at
Squirrel's
her.
cute.
She's so gorgeous.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So ready for her close up.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, guys, I think that is about all we have for today. Thanks for tuning into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9, now every Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m., and NetNet Radio every Saturday, 8 p.m. Be sure to tune in next week. We have an interview with Oxnard group Boy Girl. And be sure to drop us a follow at TBD Presents, and we'll see you guys next week. This is Dummy out of Los Angeles. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.